No one has ever gone into heaven except the one who came from heaven, the Son of Man. No one has ever gone into heaven except the one who came from heaven, the Son of Man. Greeting, guys. It is me here with a message of the kingdom of heaven. Guys, today I decided to just speak about this because you see, guys, sometimes it happens that because of a particular event that we don't understand, the purpose of, and we just, start having beliefs based on it. You see, many people have said that there were people in the Old Testament who went to heaven, and guys, it's easy to confuse certain things that happen, if you don't really understand the purpose of Jesus. Guys, once you understand the purpose of Jesus, because if you claim that there are people who've been to heaven before Jesus came on earth and brought the blood, then you are telling me that Jesus went to the cross for nothing. You are telling me that that guy suffered for absolutely nothing. You are telling me that they allowed the beloved, the firstborn, the creator of all things, to suffer for absolutely nothing. You see, guys, if anyone who's spiritually dead can enter heaven, then believe me when I tell you, Jesus went to the cross for absolutely nothing. Guys, I sit and I look at that moment, and that moment is always in my mind. I just cannot ignore it. I see it and I'm like, if I was living in that generation but understood a little bit of what was happening, I would have negotiated with my Lord and said, you see, my Lord, I love you so much. I don't want you to be caught, like a thief, as if you've done something wrong, and for you to feel all that pain, but we want your blood. How about we put you under the knife? How about I drag you, and then you become unconscious, and then we draw that blood from you. I don't know, guys, if you get what I mean, because the way we got that blood, guys. Hey, guys, when I think about it, I just become sad. When I think about it, guys, I just become sad because the way we received that blood wasn't nice. Yes, the deed is over and done with, and I'm pretty sure my Lord was like, at least I'm not doing it anymore, But for me, I see it and I'm like, damn, my Lord, you went through so much pain, And I see it and I'm like, I just cannot disobey you. I just cannot disobey you and remind you of what happened. Because, guys, you see, when we disobey him after knowing the truth, we are reminding him of what happened, and we are telling him that, listen, I don't care what you did, I didn't ask you to do that. Guys, I didn't ask him to do that, but damn, I'm grateful. Damn, I'm grateful. And by obeying him, by obeying his commands, no matter how difficult it is, I'm showing him that, listen, I appreciate what you've done, because it wasn't easy. I would have really, guys, negotiated with him, held a meeting, I would have called him, please, let us have a meeting. And we'll be like, what the meeting is all about. And I'll be like, well, and then I'll abduct him, and chain him, to a chair, and make sure that he doesn't, no one gets him. Guys, what I mean. Guys, believe me when I tell you, he will actually be mad and call me Satan like he did with Peter. But guys, the way that blood, guys, what I mean. But what I'm trying to say is that, the way people speak so recklessly, as if that blood, we got it so easy. Someone had to go through that much pain. Someone, he tells his disciples, he says, my soul is sorrowful to the point of shedding blood. You understand? He is so, he said, my soul is sorrowful to the point of death. So he is so sad. He is so sad, about that moment, because he was thinking about it. So not only did he feel pain physically, but he also felt it emotionally, because he was thinking about that. Nevertheless, guys, here I just wanted to speak about this because Jesus kept on saying that he's been to heaven, and he says that no one has ever been to heaven except him. And many people will tell you that in the Gospel of Matthew 17, when Jesus took Peter, James, and John and was transfigured, he actually, um, met up with Moses and Elijah. And people will tell you that Moses and Elijah were in heaven. And that is where, guys, this is where this argument is coming from. In fact, it's not an argument, but I'm just speaking about this because you see, if Moses and Elijah came from heaven, then it means Moses and Elijah were spiritually alive. Now, if Moses and Elijah were spiritually alive, then Moses and Elijah did not come from Adam like you and me. Simple, guys, concluded. If Moses and Elijah came from heaven, it means Moses and Elijah were spiritually alive. Then, if that's the case, then Moses and Elijah did not come from Adam, who destroyed all of us. It's simple as that, guys. You need to understand these things. You see, if Elijah was, when he left here, he ascended. He did not ascend to an extent that he entered heaven. That must have been done for a particular reason. But Elijah had to go down there. Elijah had to go down there to Abraham's bosom and wait there. Moses had to go down there to Abraham's bosom and wait there. They couldn't enter heaven. If they were caught up in the cloud, then the guys, let me tell you, they were staying right there for all those years because they couldn't enter heaven. They couldn't. The spirit, a dead spirit can't. That's why Jesus had to come down here and give us that blood, because without that blood, guys, no one would enter. You see, guys, if Jesus had not gone, if Jesus, guys, had not gone to the cross and did what he did, I'm telling you, all of us would go to hell. All of us. Yes, it wasn't our fault. It was Adam's fault. Guys, as angry this might make you feel or offended, at the end of the day, guys, you need to understand it wasn't your fault. It wasn't Daddy's fault either. And it wasn't Jesus' fault either. But Daddy realized that it wasn't his fault, but brought Jesus. You understand? And then he brought Jesus, And by doing so, he's saying, it wasn't my fault, it wasn't your fault, but I've brought someone who can deal with this problem. You understand? So that work of the cross, guys, was too much. No one could have gone to heaven, not even a single person. No one can enter there. That's why Jesus tells Nicodemus, he says, no one has ever gone into heaven except the one who came from heaven, the Son of Man. No one, guys. No matter how good they were. You see, guys, I often speak about, the fact that people are spiritually dead. But you see, there were guys who, though spiritually dead, those who were in the covenant, in the Mosaic covenant, who were righteous, they were not righteous in a way that they were spiritually alive, but they were righteous because they were obeying the commands of Moses, the commands that Jesus dished to Moses. You understand? For instance, let's take Abraham, the man himself, the man who struck the covenant with David. Abraham, guys, will be going about with Sarai, and will be lying to people saying that Sarai was his sister so that they wouldn't kill him and take Sarai. So he will be lying, coming from Ur to Canaan. All those, and was that telling the truth? No, he was lying through his teeth. The guy was lying through his teeth. But Abraham was not given any law. As I said, guys, where there is no law, sin is not taken into account. Paul says that in Romans chapter 2, he says where there is no law, sin is absent, even though a person is lying. So with Abraham, Daddy commanded Abraham to walk blameless before him. I don't know, guys, if you understand that. Daddy commanded Abraham to walk blameless before him. You understand? To walk righteous before him. He did not tell him the laws, don't do this, don't do this. So Abraham could do his best. So when Abraham told Abimelech and the other kings that Sarai was the sister, it was because Abraham was trying to make sure that the will of God comes to pass. Yes, he was doing it the wrong way, but he didn't know how. He didn't know else how. You understand? And Daddy was like, okay, because Daddy understood that this dude is trying to, make sure that my will comes to pass. The guy left Ur and was going to Canaan. So, I mean, that was a big thing. And Daddy understood that. So he walked blameless before Daddy, but the guy was lying. You understand? And he was forgiven for that. Why? Because there was no law. Because where there is no law, sin is not taken into account. Daddy is like that, guys. He has not changed. You understand? It's the laws. They says, do not do this. You know, like Jesus would say, it was said, but now I'm saying. It was said, but now I'm saying. He will say, people were told, people of old were told, a slap for slap, kick for kick, wound for wound. You understand? But he says you are to love your enemies. Why? Because you're spiritually alive. There were things that a person who's spiritually dead cannot do, that only a person who's spiritually alive can do. So there were new laws that had to be given for the spiritually alive person. You understand? But where there is no law, sin is not taken into account. That's why he says, children, do not sin. If you do sin, there is blood. He forgives. Even you, if you're a child, you don't understand. Not a child by age, but a child by understanding, by knowledge. He forgives. You understand? And then he says, once you know the truth and you continue, meaning once you know the truth, then you're deciding, then he cannot forgive that. You understand? So we need to understand those things. So even though Abraham was righteous, he couldn't enter heaven because he was spiritually dead. Moses, he couldn't because he was spiritually dead. Elijah, Elisha, you understand? They couldn't all enter heaven because they're spiritually dead. They went to Abraham's bosom there and waited there. And when Jesus was on the cross, one of the things he did was going down there to preach to those souls down there. And those people, Moses and all of them, they had to accept Jesus as Lord and Savior. And after doing so, they were taken up and they go and slept under the altar, waiting for the end of things. You read that in Revelations chapter 9 to verse 6 down, or from verse 6 down, or chapter 6 verse 9 down. Me and my dementia, you understand? So you need to understand all of those things. There were those when Jesus was on the cross who walked about, those who had passed on, saints who walked, who rose to life and walked about in the streets of Israel. You understand? But there were those who did not rise to life, but who were caught up and went and sleep under the altar, because that place, Abraham's bosom, no one could be there anymore. You understand? And so you need to understand all of those things. So when Moses and Elijah, were with Jesus in the mountain, they came from that place, Abraham's bosom, not from heaven. Yes, they looked like that. They were wearing those white clothes and stuff. They could not have been to heaven. It's just not possible. I'm telling you guys, if Moses and Elijah were in heaven, then believe you me, salvation is absolutely useless. Absolutely useless. Anything can enter heaven. Jesus brought that blood for nothing. Because if the old covenant can take us to heaven, can make us enter heaven, then believe me, that was absolutely useless. Jesus, felt all that pain. I'm feeling sad all for nothing. So guys, we need to understand all of those things. Guys, once you understand the kingdom of heaven, once you understand the things that happen, it's easy to interpret those events that people don't understand. You understand? So I just wanted to speak about this so that, we can just get it over and done with. Thank you.